Hello, welcome back to the Experimental Photographer. Today we will be looking at the process of creating orbs. Orbs are one of the most popular techniques in light painting as they are fun and easy to create, and their beautiful symmetrical shape tends to go well in a variety of settings. There are several methods for creating orbs, and we will cover the two most popular methods here. The first method involves tying a light, or a ball of lights, to a string and then spinning it in front of you while turning in a circle. This method produces a ropey orb, somewhat like a ball of string. The orb forms quickly with this technique, in perhaps only 15 to 30 seconds. So this is a good method if you are looking to capture many orbs within a single shot. The second method involves holding lights and lit objects in your hand, with your arm stiff, and then rotating your arm and the lights in circles centered around your shoulder blade. With this method, you can change the light source, and using a variety of light painting tools, you can create very complex orbs.
Well, alright, here we are back in my ad hoc studio. And we are looking at the equipment we need to create the first method of orb. As you can see here, I have basically just a set of fairy lights. I don't know if it's 6 foot or 8 foot strand. And I've taped them up so I can use them to create the orb. They are battery powered. Have to have that. And what I've just done is I've balled up, half of the strand of lights there and taped it with electrical tape. I have two methods. This one's more like some kind of bludgeoning device, and this one is more like straight row. And I've left about, 3 foot strand there from the battery pack, the on-off switch, so I can swing them. And I've also taped off the extra ones that I'm not going to be using. There, so they're black. You can see when I turn it on, it has several modes. Switch is right there, right where I'm going to be twirling it. And let's get a look at the other one here. You can see that one's more straight in. Alright. And of course, there's one more method. You can just use a flashlight. Tie it on there. Make sure it's very secure. And try to use a small flashlight, something without a lot of weight to it. I learned the hard way by using a heavier one. And first my string broke and the flashlight went flying off into the desert. Luckily it landed in soft dirt, so it wasn't messed up. But also I got a blister on my finger from twirling it. Alright, here's an assortment of goodies that could be used to make an orb with method 2. Basically anything that lights up that you can hold in your hand, you can turn into an orb. This one in particular is my favorite. This is an excellent little tool. It's actually an LED umbrella that I took the umbrella part off. And I'm left with this really awesome orb tool. I credit Tom Hill for finding this little chestnut. I don't know if Tom invented this method of creating orbs, but he has certainly taken it to the next level. Anyway, so we have this great little modified toy here. Not only does it come in an assortment of colors, I think 6 or 7 colors, but it also has this excellent little light on the end we can also use. These are referred to as blades, and the one in the middle there is a wand, a couple of homemade items. If you're new to light painting, then I highly recommend you get one of these. It's called a universal connector. And it connects to a variety of flashlights, and from there you can plug in all of these little goodies. As you can see, when I first started light painting, I had a whole assortment of these little juice bottles. I had like 6 or 7 different colors. And it also connects, both of these connect to the universal connector. I think those, the purple and the blue one there, I think were bubble wands I got from Walmart. They're like $1 each or something. Alright, we're going to do a little live demonstration here while it's still daytime, so we can see all the little details of what we're going to be doing here in the dark. I have everything set up, my camera. I've placed a rock out in the yard at the exact place where I'm going to be standing, where the orb is going to be spun. And keep in mind, you're going to be walking in front of the camera during this shot, so you need to be dressed in fairly dark clothes, all black preferably. Alright, let's have a go. So I'm going to be spinning the orb directly above the rock. And I want to keep an eye on it while I'm actually going to be walking around the outside of the rock. So I get the light spinning, turn it on, and slowly make my way around. And I use the rock as a guide. As long as the light is spinning over the rock, directly centered over the rock, it should be nice and even. Don't want to get ahead of yourself. I did. Just take some time. Let the light spin around. Okay, we're at the end. And I'm going to turn it off while it's still spinning. And there you go. Okay, method number 2. I have the exact same setup. My rock is there as a guide for me to stand behind. My camera is ready to go. 14 millimeters focused at the distance of the rock, shooting ISO 100 at f8. I'll be using the LED umbrella this time, the Blade Runner umbrella, starting with the wand side, in blue I think. Then I'll be using the back light for the outer part of the orb. And finally, I will be using this little keychain light to do something at the core of the orb. The camera should be positioned at or near shoulder height. Otherwise, the orb will form irregularly and lopsided. The light painter should be turned at 90 degrees to the camera, with the shoulder joint pointing straight at the camera. The body should remain fairly rigid, arm locked straight out with all of the rotation coming from the shoulder joint. Okay, I'm going to lock open the shutter here. I'll stand at my rock. And I'm going to start by filling the orb with the wand side of the LED umbrella. I'm going in a circular motion here, but any consistent pattern will work. I'm moving the wand slowly and consistently from bottom to top, and then moving over by a small amount, and continuing the pattern back down. The objective here is to fill the whole orb with colored light, not leaving any gaps or dark areas. Stop the wand short at the bottom of each pass, otherwise your shoes will be lit up and will be noticeable in the shot. Okay, next, I'm using the in light to make pinstripes on the outside of the orb. Again, any pattern will work here. In fact, this is a great place to experiment with your own designs. Remember to be diligent in keeping that shoulder in line and rotating only at the shoulder joint. And be sure to finish the pattern and turn off the light at ground level or at least hidden from the camera. Okay, finally, digging out my keychain light, I am going to do a pattern at the core of the orb. This is also a great place to experiment with your own patterns. Now I've got my setup all ready. Camera's focused and set to the right height. I've got my rocks set up. I've decided to just go big and do both orbs in a single capture here. So it's hard to tell with all the other rocks there, but I have one rock there for a marker and a rock there for a marker, with my 2 tools sitting next to the rocks. Now the tool that I'm using for the first method is quite a bit brighter than the tool I'm using for the second. So what I'm going to do is, I have a manual aperture lens. I'm going to set the camera at f11 and do the first orb, and then I'm going to run back mid-capture and open the camera up a little to f5.6. I think that's 4 stops, maybe 5, and then spin the second orb, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it worked out. Give it a second to expose some of the sky. Not bad.